Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another Sigmalive Hangout. Today we're discussing with two academics on the topic of the illegal elections in the so-called TRNC. Gentlemen, hello, Mr. Michalis Kontos, Mr. Zinonas Tziaras, both international relations specialists. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Tziaras. There's a lot of talk about how Cyprus and the Republic of Cyprus is standing against or looking or examining how the elections are going in the so-called TRNC, with the view, of course, that the new leader of the Turkish Cypriot community is going to be the negotiator of the president for the talks for the Cypriot problem. We haven't heard, however, how does Turkey, Ankara, stand opposite the elections?
Yes, that's very important, given the fact that Ankara has very close relationships with occupied territories, the so-called TRNC. We know that Ankara actually has strong links, political and social links in the occupied territories, and so it can influence political decisions. Now, what we also know is that Ankara and Mr. Eroglu, one of the two candidates, don't go along very well. The other thing is that the candidacy of Mr. Akinci is an uncertain candidacy for everyone, really, because although it's a veteran politician, we don't know how he would act or react as a so-called president. So I think what will determine the next day of the election outcomes is, first of all, the ability of Mr. Akinci to distance or determine some level of isolation, if you will, between the Turkish Cypriot community and Ankara's will or influence, and Mr. Akinci's ability or will to negotiate with the Republic of Cyprus a settlement that would be primarily for the benefit of the Cypriots.
Ankara hasn't been standing behind Eroglu in the way that it was standing in the former election. We didn't see it coming forth as strong.
Yeah.
Is that because they do not believe that Eroglu serves their interests anymore, or is it because he has failed them?
Well, probably both, because in a way, and these two issues are interconnected. Mm-hmm. If the Turkish Cypriot leader fails to handle the most important issues looming in the occupied areas, then that means that Turkey is interested in someone who's going to bring stability, political stability. Political stability is very important for Ankara when it comes to the occupied areas of Cyprus, because anything different could entail strains in the relationships between Ankara and the occupied areas. So if we consider that Mr. Eroglu has in several ways failed to be at the top of the most important issues that occupy the Turkish Cypriots in the last few years, that would probably entail that Ankara would not be so keen to support him in the first place. In any case, though, in my view, for Ankara, the personas are not so important. It's the policies that are important. What's going to happen in the next few months, as soon as we have a new leader of the Turkish Cypriot community, if of course Mr. Akinci is going to be the winner of the elections, I think there's going to be a time of adoption between Ankara and the new Turkish Cypriot leader. They are going to discuss, they are going to exchange views, and we're going to see Mr. Akinci's final stance regarding the talks for the Cyprus problem.
Which brings me to my next question. This whole adaptation period, what impact will it have to the negotiations? They were halted for a while, now they're going to resume. If we're going to have the adaptation period as well, doesn't that fall out of the time frame that we've heard that it's been given from the international community, notably from the US, that within the year we need a solution?
Well, I hope this is not the case, because at least as far as I am concerned, the Republic of Cyprus and the Greek Cypriot community have declined any possibility of having a strict timetable imposed. In any case, though, it is anticipated that the process, there will be an effort to be fast, to be swift, to be rapid. But it can be in a different way. Ankara will have a say. It always does have a say when it comes to the terms of the solution of the Cyprus problem. I will just remind you the case of Mr. Talat. Mr. Talat was definitely much more willing than his predecessor, Mr. Dektash, in coming into terms with the Greek Cypriot community. However, when it comes to his final position set forth on the table of the negotiations, this was not essentially different, and it was always in accordance with Turkey's views. What is more important sometimes is which kind of differences are anticipated or observed in Ankara's policy when it comes to the Cyprus problem.
Do you subscribe to the same views?
I do. The fact that the Turkish Cypriot community is very much dependent on Ankara when it comes to the economy, the infrastructure, the institutions, and so forth, gives Ankara leverage over what the Turkish Cypriot community, or any negotiator for that matter, decides or does.
Do you think that 2015 will be the year of the solution in view of everything happening? Let's say Akinci is voted in office, and let's say he needs the adaptation period with Ankara, and then the time frame is pushed even further. Do we have enough time to reach the goal?
I think the time frame is not the most important issue at hand. I think that there is a broader momentum which does not only centers on Akinci. Is a momentum that has to do with Turkey, that has to do with the United Nations, with the European Union, and so forth. And I think there is both a top-down and a bottom-up momentum, which I think has the potential of pushing the whole process forward. And 2015 seems that it could be the year of a settlement. And from my perspective, I see that it is the year that has the most possibility of being the year of a settlement.
And is this what makes this election more important than other elections that came before this one?
The question is to me, yeah. Well, although I agree with Zinonas' analysis, I would add that, in my view, whether 2015 is going to be a year with more possibilities towards reaching a solution is going to be dependent on whether Mr. Akinci will make it next Sunday to become the next leader of the Turkish Cypriot community. Because if Mr. Eroglu is re-elected, I don't see any indications that he will act in a different way than he has done in the past. So the key to decide whether it's going to be a crucial year is going to appear before us next Sunday, and probably in the next few weeks and months, when the process is going to resume and when we will have the first indications on the two sides' views regarding the solution of the Cyprus problem.
Thank you both so much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing you and discussing the topic with you again.
Sure.
I'm sure we have a lot more to discuss. And thank you for watching. Till next time, see you.